He said, "I don't know him," and everyone laughed. But my scent, it clung to his skin. I shouldn't have gone. I knew it the moment I stepped into that hall. My scent was suppressed, glands covered, scarf wrapped twice. But still, the moment I saw his back, I forgot how to breathe. He stood under the soft gold lights, dressed in pressed black, the school crest pinned near his collarbone. His voice steady, cold, proud, cut through the air like winter wind. "I don't know him." Laughter. Some shocked gasps. A girl whispered, "Really? But wasn't he?" I didn't wait to hear the rest. My shoes turned on their own. Body numb but my throat burned. I pressed against the wall outside. Tried to breathe. It didn't work. My scent, even sealed, was spiraling inside me. Tight, knotted, pulled toward his. The bond hadn't faded. My body still remembered. My heart cursed it. I closed my eyes and went back. Back to the days before the titles. Before the air mark was burned onto his neck. Back when he would steal glances at me during lectures. When his fingers would trail over my wrist during shared lab work. Like he couldn't help it. Back when I still believed eyes meant promises. The first time he kissed me was behind the sports hall. I had a fever from suppressants. I was shaking, couldn't walk. He found me, carried me into the empty locker room, pressed his jacket around me like a blanket. He didn't speak, just rested his lips against my gland. My body froze, my breath hitched. "You're burning," he whispered. "Don't hide it from me." I thought that meant something. I thought I was safe. He used to say I smelled like early spring, clean, soft, something that made his rut calm. I used to sleep near his chest just to feel his heart beat slow. I never asked him to claim me. I knew the lines between us. He was noble blood alpha, born to inherit, groomed to marry power. And I was just the unnamed scholarship boy with trembling hands and cracked shoes. But still, he kissed me. He licked the edge of my gland during my first heat. He said, "Don't ever let anyone else scent you. I'll know." And I believed him. So when I heard him today, voice sharp, mask perfect, I thought maybe I misheard. That maybe it was someone else. Until I saw his eyes flick toward me. Just for a second, cold. Silent. Familiar. He knew me. And still, he said it. "I don't know him." I staggered out of the hall. Air felt thick. My suppressant patch itched under my collar. My hands shook. I ducked into the empty chemistry lab and sat on the floor, back against the cold cabinet. He used to bring me tea here. Quiet mornings. His scent would fill the room before he entered. He always smelled like burnt cinnamon and clean ink. Warm, focused mine. I laughed. Just once. It sounded broken. They said alphas forget. When the bond is weak, they move on. But omegas, we rot slowly. Gland first. The bell rang. I didn't move. My legs were numb. The memory of his hand against my lower back wouldn't fade. The way he used to hold me like I was something fragile. Or maybe like he was. He once cried into my neck during a rut. Said, "I don't want anyone else to scent me. Even if I have to lie for the rest of my life. You're the truth." Lies. All of it. Or maybe he changed. Maybe the world changed him. Maybe the weight of being air crushed the part of him that once kissed me slow in the dark. But I hadn't changed. My scent still curled toward his when I thought of him. My body still ached at the echo of his name. My gland still burned under the patch, whispering his imprint back into my skin. I pressed my fingers over it. Felt nothing. Felt everything. I stayed in that lab until night fell. Until the lights flickered off. Outside I heard someone call my name. Once. Low. Hoarse. It sounded like him. I didn't answer. I wanted him to hurt the way I did. I wanted his scent to chase ghosts in every empty room. I wanted him to rot too. But I knew better. He would walk away. And I would stay here, with a body that still remembered every breath he ever took near my skin. And a scent that refused to forget. He found me again, first at the library, 5th row from the back near the broken heater that always made the air smell faintly of old paper and heat suppression spray. I didn't see him at first, just felt the shift in the air. His scent, faint but real, brushed past me like wind. Sharp cinnamon, warm cedar, regret. I froze. My fingers tightened on the spine of the book I hadn't even read. He said nothing, just stood 2 aisles away, watching. I didn't look at him. Not properly. But I could feel him. My gland throbbed. Low. Repetitive. Like heartbeat echoing from somewhere inside my neck. Next day, he was outside the clinic. Coincidence again? Maybe. Or not. His coat was too thin for the cold, and his fingers were red like he'd been waiting long. I told myself to walk past. I tried, but then he stepped forward and said, "You okay?" Just that. Soft. Uncertain. My chest cracked. I wanted to scream at him, push him, ask if this was some cruel performance. But all I did was nod. Once. His eyes searched my face. "You look tired." I laughed under my breath. That's what happens when people don't sleep. He flinched. A little. Like the words hit deeper than they should have. He reached out, then stopped. His hand curled, fingers twitching like they remembered how I used to fit into his palm. "I wanted to say sorry," he whispered. I didn't answer, just looked away. He didn't follow. But 2 days later I found coffee at my desk. My name scribbled on the side, shaky writing. It was his. I stared at it too long. Didn't touch it. But I didn't throw it away either. The next time it was in the hallway. Almost empty. Evening light spilling through the windows. Golden and soft. He was standing near the lockers. Hands in pockets. "Why are you doing this?" I asked. He looked down. "Because I miss you." My breath caught. I hated that it did. "Don't," I said. "You don't get to say that. Not after what you—" "I know." His voice cracked. "I know I hurt you." He stepped closer. Just a little. Not enough to touch. But enough for our scents to brush. Barely there, like threads unraveling between us. My body betrayed me. My pulse jumped. My gland pulsed under my collar. I swallowed and stepped back. "It's too late." He looked like he wanted to argue. But instead, he nodded. Quietly. After that he didn't speak for a week. But I still saw him at the edges of rooms. Just far enough. Sometimes closer. Like gravity pulling unevenly. He stopped bringing coffee. But he always looked like he wanted to say something. I started catching his scent when he wasn't even around. My body reacting like it was haunted. Phantom touches. Imagined warmth. I hated it. I hated him. But also, I missed the way he used to look at me. Like I was the only thing that made sense. I told myself it was guilt. Not longing. Not care. Not bond. But then it happened again. At the campus cafe. A few alphas I didn't know were sitting nearby. Loud. Laughing. One of them leaned too close to me while I waited for my order. His voice low. Cocky. "You smell kinda sweet." "You in heat, sweetheart." I froze. My scent was sealed. Patch was fresh. He shouldn't have smelled anything. But I still felt sick. Before I could say anything, someone stepped between us. It was him. His hand didn't touch me. But he was close enough that I felt his breath. His voice was low. Dangerous. "Back off." The other alpha raised his hands. "Chill, man. Just talking." But my alpha's eyes, they weren't calm. They were dark. Rut dark. His shoulders were tense. His jaw clenched. When the other guy walked away, he turned to me. "You okay?" he whispered. I didn't answer. Just looked at him. Really looked. And I saw it in his posture. His scent. The tremble in his hand. Possessiveness. Jealousy. Not guilt. My gland ached. He wanted to say something, I could tell. But he didn't. He just stepped back again. I stared at his retreating figure for a long time. That night I couldn't sleep. My body was restless. I kept pulling at the collar of my shirt like my skin was too tight. My gland burned low. Not heat but close. The kind of ache that came from remembering the exact way someone used to press their mouth against it. I hated that I remembered. I hated that he could still stir this part of me with just a glance. The next day, he left another coffee. No note this time. Just warm. I didn't drink it. But I didn't throw it away either. And for the first time, I wondered if he was hurting too. If his scent trembled every time I walked past. If maybe, just maybe, he still remembered the way I tasted. The way I used to whisper his name in the dark. I touched my gland. It pulsed back, like it was waiting for him to come closer again. I ignored the first wave. The way my spine arched slightly in the morning when I stretched. The damp warmth under my patch. My chest rising faster even when I wasn't doing anything. My scent, soft but sharper than it should be. I told myself it was stress, cold weather, leftover dreams, but my body, it knew. By noon I was dizzy, lightheaded. Every sound felt louder, the sunlight too bright. My fingers couldn't hold the pen steady in class. I kept my head low, scarf tight around my neck, praying no one would notice. But he noticed. He always did, even from across the hall. Even when we weren't speaking. Especially then. I tried to make it to the infirmary, told the professor I needed a break. Walked too fast, breath too shallow. My boots clicked too loud against the floor, and still I couldn't hear anything past the rushing in my ears. My back felt hot, my lower abdomen heavy, like something inside me had woken up angry and hungry. I took the stairwell instead of the elevator. Less people, more shadows. I gripped the railing, made it halfway down before my legs gave a soft warning tremble. And he was there, standing at the base of the stairs, like he'd been waiting. His eyes met mine. Something ancient and terrible passed between us. He stepped forward slowly. I backed up, hands sliding along the wall. "You're burning," he said, quiet but firm. "No," I whispered. "Just tired." He moved again. I flinched. "Don't come closer." He stopped, but his scent didn't. It crawled across the space like smoke, warm, possessive, trembling. My skin prickled. His voice softened. "Your patch is failing." "I know. Why didn't you say anything?" I looked away. "Because you don't know me. Remember?" That broke something in him. I saw it in his jaw, how it clenched. His breath shook. "I never meant that," he said. I turned to leave, but my steps were weak. The second wave of heat hit stronger, crueler. My knees wobbled. The railing dug into my palm. My scent spiked in the air like lightning. I heard his breath catch. He was near me again. Too near. "Don't," I gasped, chest heaving. But his hand brushed mine, just once, and my entire body flared. My gland pulsed under the patch like it had found home. I reached out blindly, my hand clutching his shirt. I didn't know why. I just needed to feel anchored. His heartbeat thudded under my fingers. "You need help," he whispered. "No," I breathed. "Don't touch me." But I didn't let go. He leaned in, slow, careful. His mouth hovered near my neck, the space between us heavy with something electric. "Tell me to stop," he said. "Say it and I will." I opened my mouth. Nothing came. I should have said it. I meant to, but the scent of him, real, raw, unfiltered, drowned me. And then his lips were on my gland. I gasped. My entire body went still. Not biting, not claiming, just there, pressed soft and trembling. I felt everything. His regret, his longing, his restraint, the way his breath stuttered against my skin, the way he exhaled like he'd been holding it in for years. I should have pushed him away. But instead my fingers curled tighter into his shirt. He let out a broken sound, like pain. "You still feel like mine," he whispered. I didn't answer. Couldn't. My heart was too loud. My scent was everywhere. His mouth moved slightly lower, closer to where the patch edge had curled. I tensed. "I won't bite," he said. "Not unless you ask." Tears stung my eyes. "Why are you doing this?" "Because I can't stand watching you suffer alone." My knees buckled. He caught me before I hit the ground. One arm under my back, one hand against my ribs. His touch was careful. Too careful. I rested my head against his shoulder. The scent of him wrapped around me like fire and memory. "I hate you," I whispered. "I know. But I still burn for you." He held me tighter. I felt the tremble in his hands. My body throbbed. The heat was relentless now. But wrapped in his scent, it hurt a little less. I should have pulled away, but I stayed, in that stairwell, in his arms, with his mouth pressed softly against my gland like a secret only we remembered. I felt it before I saw it, the way his breath broke mid-word, the way his chest rose too fast, too sharp, how his pupils dilated like they were drowning. His scent changed first, darker, thicker, laced with something feral. The calm cinnamon turned to something wild. Rot, and still, he didn't move. His forehead rested against mine, his body trembling. I could feel every inch of him holding back, fighting instinct. My own heat was flaring inside me like fire beneath skin. But I was still, breathing slow, pretending I could control it. We stood like that, between two stairwell walls. Me leaning, him caging. "I'm fine," I whispered. He didn't answer, just exhaled. Rough, then softly. "You're not." My scent had spilled everywhere. The suppressant patch had peeled off completely. I didn't know when. My body betrayed me. My heat wasn't rising, it was crashing. "I can't scent you like this," he said, voice low. "It's too much." I closed my eyes. "Then leave." "I should," he whispered. But he didn't move. I opened my eyes. And in that second, that 1 second, I saw it snap inside him. His gaze lost focus. Lips parted. Fingers twitching. "Don't." "Too late," he growled, quiet but deep, from somewhere inside his chest. It wasn't a threat, it was grief. His hands braced the wall on either side of me. His scent pressed into me like smoke. My knees wobbled. "Stop," I whispered, voice shaking. "I'm trying," he said, trembling. "I swear I'm trying." But the rut had him. His scent poured into the air like waves crashing over mine. Every breath I took was full of him. My body felt weightless and burning at the same time. He leaned closer, forehead pressing harder against mine. His voice was broken now. "Tell me to stop." I opened my mouth. But my body, it leaned just a little. And that was enough. His hand reached out, gently cradling the side of my neck, his thumb brushing just close to the edge of my exposed gland. I gasped. My knees gave in. He caught me instantly. Arms under my body, holding me so tight, so careful, like I would vanish. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm so sorry." I didn't answer. Couldn't. My vision was starting to spin. My heat crashing. Everything going too fast. His scent was everywhere. On my skin. In my throat. Inside my lungs. He carried me. I don't remember how far. Or where. Only soft lights. Warm cloth. The echo of his heartbeat pressed against my back. I heard him muttering my name. Over and over. A prayer. He didn't bite. He didn't mark. He just held me. His rut scent was wild. Desperate. But still, he didn't cross that line. He stayed near. Whispering, shaking, burning. "Please, be okay." I blacked out. When I woke, everything was quiet. The room was dim. Some small place. Unfamiliar. Maybe an old storeroom. Maybe a dorm corner. I was lying on a mattress. A soft blanket over me. My body was sore but untouched. My glands still unclaimed. I sat up slowly. My head spun. But the scent, it still lingered. His scent, wrapped around the blanket. Faint on my wrist. Embedded in the pillow under my cheek. I looked to the side. He was gone. But there was a folded note beside me. Shaky handwriting. Like his fingers had trembled while writing it. "I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to touch you." My throat burned. I pressed the paper to my chest and closed my eyes. The scent of him still clinging to my clothes. Still singing through my heat-worn body. Still whispering truths I wasn't ready to face. And I hated it. I hated how safe it had felt in his arms. Even when I was burning. Even when I was collapsing. Even when he wasn't supposed to hold me anymore. But he did. He stayed. And then, he disappeared. I ran. Not because I wanted to, but because I had to. My body was still weak, scent still carrying his like an echo I couldn't wash off. My skin burned where he had touched me. My neck still pulsed where his breath had warmed it. I didn't take my phone, didn't leave a note. I left the dorm in the middle of the night. No shoes, just socks wet from the rain-soaked pavement. The city lights blurred as I walked. Everything blurred. I told myself I was done, that I could still save something. Maybe not myself, but some part of my dignity. He wasn't supposed to follow me. But of course he did. 2 nights passed. Then 3. I stayed in a cheap capsule room near the station. The air stale. The scent filters broken. The blanket too thin. My heat had faded, but the ache hadn't. I stared at the ceiling for hours, tried to erase his face from my mind. But his scent clung to me like it knew I was lying. I hadn't seen him since that night. Since he carried me, held me, whispered things that sounded like regret and smelled like longing. I thought maybe he gave up. Maybe he finally understood silence. But on the fourth night I opened the capsule door, and there he was. Standing in the hallway, rain soaking through his coat, hair flat against his forehead, his hands trembling, his eyes red. I couldn't breathe. He said nothing at first, just stared, as if making sure I was real. Then his voice came. Rough. Raw. Say it. Say you hate me, but don't disappear again. I blinked slowly. My throat tightened. You weren't supposed to find me. His lips parted. I always find you. I stepped back into the capsule, tried to slide the door shut, but his hand pressed against it. I was scared, he said, barely louder than a breath. They told me I'd lose everything if I claimed you. I laughed. Quiet. Bitter. You already did. He flinched. His shoulders shook. The hallway smelled like wet pavement and heartbreak. He took a step inside. My body tensed, but I didn't stop him. His scent, it hit me like memory. He came closer. One slow step at a time. And then he was right in front of me, gland to gland. The heat between us wasn't physical anymore. It was something older. Sad. Then let me lose everything else, he whispered. Just not you. Tears blurred my vision. My knees almost gave out again. He reached gently. His hand touched the side of my neck. I didn't mark you that night. I know. But I wanted to. I let out a shaky breath. Why didn't you? His voice broke. Because I thought you deserved better. Because I thought loving me would destroy you. You destroyed me anyway. His forehead pressed to mine. His breath warm. Then let me put you back together. I sobbed. Quietly. The sound tucked between his collar and my lips. His scent poured into me again. But this time I didn't run. This time, I leaned into it and let him scent me again. We didn't speak for a long time. His head rested near my chest. Breath quiet. Arms loosely curled around my waist. The storm outside had faded into a low whisper against the window. But something louder was still moving between us. Something heavy, unspoken, ancient. I stared at the ceiling, fingers slowly threading through his hair. Still damp. Still smelling like cold rain and cedar. My body was calm now. No more heat. No more ache. But inside, everything felt raw. Quiet, but not empty. He hadn't let go all night. Even when I shifted, even when I cried, silently, facing the wall, he stayed. Not like last time. This time, he didn't disappear. His hand moved gently along my ribs. Not possessive. Not desperate. Just there. Warm. And then his voice came. Low. Steady. That day, he said, when I said I didn't know you. I closed my eyes. I lied. I didn't move. Didn't answer. He pressed his forehead to my collarbone. I knew you. I still know you. I wanted to believe him. But something in my chest still flinched. He shifted slightly, lips brushing against my gland. Not kissing. Just resting. Like a prayer. My breath caught. I marked you once, he whispered. You never knew. It was faint, barely a trace. But it stayed. I froze. My heartbeat paused. What? He pulled back just enough to look at me. His eyes were wet, not crying, but heavy. That night, after your first heat, you fell asleep. I pressed my mouth to your gland. Didn't bite, didn't claim. Just left my scent there. I didn't mean to, I just couldn't stop myself. My hand trembled in his hair. All these years, he continued. Even when I said those things. Even when I tried to stay away. I still smelled you. In every room. On every shirt. Even when I washed them 10 times. I blinked slowly. I thought it was phantom scent, I said. Thought my body was just broken. His voice broke. No. It was me. It was always me. My throat ached. I looked away. He gently turned my face back. I ruined everything, he said. I know that. I nodded. Barely. But if there's still one part of you that wants me, I'll stay. I won't run again. I won't let anyone make me deny you again. I stared at him. At the alpha who once broke me clean with a single sentence. And the alpha who now trembled just to stay close. My heart. It didn't forgive. Not fully. Not yet. But it softened. Then don't leave again, I whispered. Ever. He nodded. And this time, he stayed.